we are, the final event of this grand luxury tour. The last brand we're going to talk about may be the most famous of them all. A brand which has clearly become over the years the embodiment of British luxury. The brand is Aston Martin, and the car is the 2024 Aston Martin Vantage. This is the last stop of this voyage around Europe. I hope you'll enjoy it just like our archivist did.
Today was the ultimate day of my European luxury tour. And it wasn't just any day. It was a day with Aston Martin. I had decided from the very beginning to save Aston Martin for last. For this brand is quite unique when it comes to famous British cars. Aston, as a tribute to the Aston Hill race from the early 20th century, and Martin, from Lionel Martin, co-founder of the brand. The name Aston Martin now resonates in a very special way everywhere around the world. It embodies the British modern luxury touch, so to speak. Cars that are fast, cars that are beautifully crafted, and on top of that, cars that now come with an unmissable pop culture connection that started with the appearance of the DB5 in the Goldfinger movie in 1964. As a result, Aston Martin cars nowadays have undoubtedly become some of the most desirable cars in the world. My definitive treat during this day was being able to see the new Aston Martin Vantage. Freshly released, this brilliant vehicle is yet further proof that British luxury is still very much relevant, with a bright future ahead of it.
Let's try that again.
Today was the ultimate day of my European luxury tour. And it wasn't just any day. It was a day with Aston Martin. I had decided from the very beginning to save Aston Martin for last. For this brand is quite unique when it comes to famous British cars. Aston as a tribute to the Aston Hill race from the early 20th century, and Martin from Lionel Martin, co-founder of the brand. The name Aston Martin now resonates in a very special way everywhere around the world. It embodies the British modern luxury touch, so to speak. Cars that are fast, cars that are beautifully crafted, and on top of that, cars that now come with an unmissable pop culture connection that started with the appearance of the DB5 in the Goldfinger movie in 1964. As a result, Aston Martin cars nowadays have undoubtedly become some of the most desirable cars in the world. My definitive treat during this day was being able to see the new Aston Martin Vantage. Freshly released, this brilliant vehicle is yet further proof that British luxury is still very much relevant, with a bright future ahead of it. This is it, the end of my European luxury tour, with each stop more enlightening than the last. A fruitful journey for my archives and for you drivers of Motorfest.
It's time to reap your reward. Your vehicle is ready for you. This was our Archibald's Grand European Tour, and this was your Luxury Chronicles experience. Your reward is waiting for you at the container in our luxury estate. And your prize this time is prize money. Because luxury is also the freedom to choose. playlist is available, driver. A playlist is available, driver.
Look at this.
New challenges unlocked. New challenges unlocked. complete this playlist. I bet the next experience we have in store will knock your socks off. Today is a red letter day. You're signing up for one of our most exclusive experiences to date. A partnership with the quintessential sports car manufacturer, Ferrari, the prancing horse. An alliance that will for sure go down in Motorfest history. To be your guide on this pilgrimage through excellence, we've invited our resident scholar and authority on luxury cars, the Motorfest archivist. Sir, you're up.
Thank you, dear. Hello, driver. Pleased to meet you. As your lovely onboard assistance device just mentioned, I'll be your chaperone for this playlist. Although chaperone perhaps isn't the right word. More like a host, I believe. Well, this is not my usual job, but it is Ferrari we're talking about, so, well, how could I refuse?
My name is Michele Pignatti Morano. I am the director of the Ferrari Museums. Here we are where there is the birthhouse of Enzo Ferrari. Technology, putting all the best in one single car. Ferrari is a legend. It's just exceptionally full of excellence.
This is Ferrari Supercars, a partnership with the Enzo Ferrari Museum of Modena. Another activity awaits.
There's a particular kind of Ferrari we're going to speak a lot about today. The Ferrari supercars. The car you're about to drive in this opening event is none other than the first Ferrari in the supercar bloodline, the Ferrari GTO.
The first supercars that we can define is the GTO. GTO was very simple. If we just start from the name, it was Gran Turismo Omologato. The definition of supercars is very simple. It's the top expression of that period in design, performance, technology, putting all the best in one single car of that period. People call it the 288 GTO, but that is not the correct definition. The definition for that car is the GTO. Punto.
Ferrari, supercar is a term that refers to milestones in motoring history. All supercars are limited series and the product of Enzo Ferrari's philosophy, aiming to make every new model the best car of its time. That means that every new addition to the lineage is the embodiment of leading-edge research that sets the standard for cars worldwide. Drive all the Ferrari supercars on this adventure. But for now, just enjoy the collector's piece that is the Gran Turismo Omologato. Or, like Mr. Pignati Morano said, simply GTO. This car is, in essence, a special version of another iconic Ferrari, the 308 GTS. And, as intended, it is one of the fastest street-legal production cars of its time. Interesting fact from my archives. Three-time racing world champion Niki Lauda owned one of the few GTOs produced. A gift from Enzo Ferrari himself. Sight. Takes me back to the Legacy Tour Ferrari organized back in 2024. A GTO tribute tour set in the stunning surroundings of the Italian Dolomites. Organized exactly 40 years after Ferrari introduced the supercar at the 1984 Geneva Motor Show. But enough from me. Just listen to the car you're driving. she'll tell you her story herself. Welcome to the world of Ferrari, my young friend. A world where legends live among us to tell their stories loud and clear. I was delighted with that introduction. You may now head towards the northern part of the bay to make the acquaintance of the next two supercars in our Ferrari lineup. You heard me right. The next event will feature not one, but two cars for you to drive. On one hand, the inspired and inspiring Ferrari F40. And on the other hand, nothing less than a road-legal Formula One, the Ferrari F50. Mr. Pignati Morano will start with a few words, then I'll take over. The Ferrari F40. Enzo Ferrari's ultimate vision.
Everybody recognizes the F40.
Ferrari F40, second vehicle of the manufacturer to earn the prestigious supercar status, and a car that has shaken the motorsports industry to its core. Celebrate Ferrari's 40th anniversary. This Ferrari, bearing the apropos designation F40, was the last Ferrari automobile personally approved by Enzo Ferrari and made under the supervision of the Commendatore himself. The result is an aggressive car with animalistic behavior and a stripped-down interior befitting its obvious racing heritage. Brutal and uncompromising. A car that has since become the epitome of Ferrari's brand identity. car that still is in the heart of many. The greatest sports car ever made. And again, at the time, the fastest Ferrari ever created. This is a machine that has a mind of her own. Talk to her, listen to her, find your common ground. You'll get one of the best driving experiences of your life. Like you two had a deep conversation out there. Very well. This is how you make history. expected at the Hanalma racetrack. But first, let's get there with panache. Another special car is waiting for you. 20th century's most popular Ferraris. But when it comes to beloved machines from the 80s and 90s, there's another red horse that undoubtedly comes to mind. The unmistakable pop culture icon, the Ferrari Testarossa.
When you ask people which is one of the most iconic cars that people remember, I think the Testarossa is definitely among these cars here. The technology that is inside is
The Ferrari Testarossa was quite the celebrity in her time. Movies, TV shows, magazines, and even video games, the Testarossa was everywhere, appealing to kids and adults alike. With its angular design, minimalistic lines, and signature side air intakes, this car was a poster child for aerodynamics. Precise, the exact model Motorfest has put in your hands is the 1991 re-engineered version of the Testarossa, introduced as the 512 TR, featuring a redesigned interior and a refined exterior to improve its already spectacular lines. Looks like you're getting the perfect stretches of road between Maui and Oahu to take the whole measure of it. Was quite a breath of fresh air and nostalgia. you're here. It's time for you to get a real taste of Ferrari's racing DNA. The drive that gave birth to the supercar bloodline. And for this racing-themed experience, I went again through my archives to select not just one, but two vehicles for you to drive, one after the other. Two machines from two different eras, for two different racing experiences.
Scuderia Ferrari in our history is extremely important. Scuderia Ferrari was created in 1929, not far.
The Scuderia is what started it all. To understand what fuels the creation of every Ferrari ever made, especially the supercars, the racetrack is an indispensable stop. First lap, fresh car. Compared to the others, that race will be short. Only 3 short laps to make a difference. But it doesn't mean strategy gets optional. So think about your moves. You got time to plan a pit stop, but it's also short enough to go for the overcut. Your call. Come to exchange courtesies. And you got to deal with that weather. Drive fast, but don't get carried away. That rain leaves no room for reckless driving. You'll be able to reach full speed in the tunnel, but watch out. It'll spit you out into a sharp turn.
today and is not expected to get any better for a while. This could have a huge impact on the race.
Box, hit the pit on the next occasion. Nice move. Last lap, keep pushing.
Final lap. Will this race end with a last-minute twist?
Let's bring it home. First lap, fresh car. Compared to the others, that race will be short. Only 3 short laps to make a difference. But it doesn't mean strategy gets optional. So think about your moves. Well done. You've got time to plan a pit stop, but it's also short enough to go for the overcut. Your call. Deal with that weather. Drive fast, but don't get carried away. That rain leaves no room for reckless driving. Second lap. That rain is going to cut your visibility. Follow your instincts. You'll be able to reach full speed in the tunnel, but watch out. It'll spit you out into a sharp turn.
The forecast is terrible today and is not expected to get any better for a while. This could have a huge impact on the race.
Let's do this. Last lap, keep pushing.
Final lap. Will this race end with a last-minute twist?
race will be short. Only 3 short laps to make a difference. But it doesn't mean strategy gets optional. So think about your moves. The drivers did not come to exchange courtesies. The drivers did not come to exchange courtesies. Deal with that weather. Drive fast, but don't get carried away. That rain leaves no room for reckless driving. The drivers did not come to exchange courtesies. Second lap. That rain is going to cut your visibility. Follow your instincts. You'll be able to reach full speed in the tunnel, but watch out. It'll spit you out into a sharp turn. Grip levels are slightly going down. Hit the pit ASAP to avoid getting too much vibration. Did not come to exchange courtesies.
Final lap. Race end with a last-minute twist.
Racing under the rain is always tough. Chin up, mate.
Let's roll towards a new playlist journey. Now it's time for one of the main highlights of our Motorfest First Edition. The festival has put together an unprecedented motorsports competition here on the island, using a local breathtaking venue, the Hanauma Racetrack. Back to where we left off.
You're here. It's time for you to get a real taste of Ferrari's racing DNA. The drive that gave birth to the supercar bloodline. And for For this racing-themed experience, I went again through my archives to select not just one, but two vehicles for you to drive, one after the other. Two machines from two different eras, for two different racing experiences.
Scuderia Ferrari in our history
The Scuderia is what started it all. To understand what fuels the creation of every Ferrari ever made, especially the supercars, the racetrack is an indispensable stop. Racing cars were Enzo Ferrari's passion and obsession. This is what led him to found the Scuderia in 1929, which has played a major role in racing history. And born from this racing division, Ferrari as a brand and factory of excellence was created a few years later. Racing is what led Ferrari to create cars, and eventually, supercars. Without his racing spirit and passion, there would be no Ferraris as we know them. Scuderia is what started it all. To understand what fuels the creation of every Ferrari ever made, especially the supercars, the racetrack is an indispensable stop. Racing cars were Enzo Ferrari's passion and obsession. This is what led him to found the Scuderia in 1929, which has played a major role in racing history. And born from this racing division, Ferrari as a brand and factory of excellence was created a few years later. Racing is what led Ferrari to create cars, and eventually, supercars. Without his racing spirit and passion, there would be no Ferraris as we know them. 65 GTB4 is the perfect vehicle for you to experience Ferrari racing as it felt back in the 70s. Before switching for a car about 45 years its junior. For this second lap, you'll be driving the FXXK. This car is quite peculiar. Essentially a laboratory-enhanced version of La Ferrari, a supercar you'll get to meet later on. It didn't compete, per se, but this insanely powerful car was used for years as an R&D test car, allowing Ferrari to collect precious data to ultimately improve their next official racing cars, as well as the supercars. Ferrari so extreme that it can never be driven on the road, nor qualify for any kind of official competition. But it's still a racing machine through and through. More than a car, the FXXK is an experiment for its makers and an experience for its drivers. This was a peek at Ferrari's glorious racetrack heritage, a heritage in which supercars are inextricably tied up. Marvelous race driver. A moment I'll be thrilled to relate and store in my archives. Let's get our focus back to our supercar line. With the GTO, the F40, and the F50, we've covered all the Ferrari supercars born in the 20th century. We'll now get to talk about and drive the more recent 21st century supercars. Well, I'll talk, you'll drive. Let's get back to Maui.
What was the next name? The name was Enzo. Enzo Ferrari, I mean, it's the top of the names. You couldn't do anything better than that. If we look at it today, and you think it was presented in 2002, it is still a car which is modern, and it has more than 20 years, but it's still unique. It's still, everybody wants this car. There is no main evolution. It is all evolution. It's technological, it's design, it's the horsepowers we put in, everything, and that's what makes Edge Ferrari super.
In the supercar bloodline was just like her sisters before her, born from a strong desire to push supercars even further.
All good to resume our progression on this playlist.
Marvelous race driver. A moment I'll be thrilled to relate and store in my archives.
What was the next name? The name was Enzo Ferrari. Supercar bloodline was just like her sisters before her, born from a strong desire to push supercars even further. As the first Ferrari of the century, and with a Scuderia on top of the racing world, the Enzo was meant to strike hard and set new standards for Ferrari cars, or rather, for the whole sports car industry. With the will to design, once more, nothing less than a road-legal Formula One, faster on the track but more civilized on the road, Ferrari went all out. And my word, did they deliver. Designed by Pininfarina, featuring noticeable air intakes and an F1-inspired nose, gives this car her aggressive, decisive, and impressive looks, while the engine is nothing short of engineering mastery, as you'd expect. Add to that better handling, better carbon brakes, and electronics that make the car as reliable on an everyday drive as it is savage on the racetrack. The 21st century tech alongside the legendary Ferrari Fury.
nothing short of a new performance benchmark. Her name alone shows how confident Ferrari was about this car. Owning one of the 399 plus one Ferrari Enzos in existence is like owning a piece of car history. Or, dare I say, like owning a piece of art.
Be kind, rewind.
Racing heritage, luxury, and exclusivity. This is Enzo Ferrari's legacy. After the beautiful tribute that was the Ferrari Enzo, the world had to wait more than 10 years to encounter a new Ferrari supercar. But eventually, the next generation arrived, and once again, caught everybody off guard. I'm talking about a car named La Ferrari, the Ferrari in English, which is currently waiting for you north of Maui. I'll let you drive there. Then we'll talk some more. After the beautiful tribute that was the Ferrari Enzo, the world had to wait more than 10 years to encounter a new Ferrari supercar. But eventually, the next generation arrived, and once again, caught everybody off guard. I'm talking about a car named La Ferrari, the Ferrari in English, which is currently waiting for you north of Maui. I'll let you drive there. Then we'll talk some more.
LaFerrari is the first Ferrari we have with an hybrid engine. If you come to our museum and you have the possibility of comparing and seeing the LaFerrari engine next to LaFerrari car, you won't believe that that engine is in that car. In that period, we were taking a lot of technology also from Formula One, and that's what the Ferrari is. LaFerrari is the first car, the first hybrid car, because we were taking the Formula One experience and transforming it and taking it to the road.
There it is. It's 2013, and a new supercar emerges from the Maranello factory. In an era of astonishingly intense competition, Ferrari still treated their rivals to a true tour de force. A car that reshuffled the cards yet again.
No shame in trying again. Let's try that again.
The strongest naturally aspirated Ferrari V12 to date, marking Ferrari's first steps into hybrid technology. For the first time in the company's history, petrol and electric working together full-time to deliver unprecedented levels of performance. And on top of all that, LaFerrari sports an F1 kinetic energy recovery system that constantly recaptures waste energy, stores it, and converts it into bursts of power when needed. There it is. It's 2013, and a new super... There it is. It's... There it is. It's 2013, and a new supercar emerges from the Maranello factory. In an era of astonishingly intense competition, Ferrari still treated their rivals to a true tour de force. A car that reshuffled the cards yet again. The strongest natural naturally aspirated Ferrari V12 to date, marking Ferrari's first steps into hybrid technology. For the first time in the company's history, petrol and electric working together full-time to deliver unprecedented levels of performance. And on top of all that, LaFerrari sports an F1 kinetic energy recovery system that constantly recaptures waste energy, stores it, and converts it into bursts of power when needed. LaFerrari, some lucky people got to witness technology peak improvements at both ends of the spectrum. Higher performance, lower consumption. Glorious achievement. Civilized, but also the fastest and most exhilarating road car ever made by the prancing horse, LaFerrari. This was LaFerrari, the fifth and ultimate Ferrari supercar. Or is she? See, not so long ago, we would have called it a day on this playlist, right about here. After all, LaFerrari was the last supercar ever made, the final word in Ferrari supercars. But that's not true anymore.
What makes Ferrari so unique? It is mainly the people. The people make the difference. And as Enzo Ferrari used to say, factories are made of wall, machinery, and people. Ferrari is made of people mainly. The people and the sense of belonging to Ferrari is something I think that is difficult to find in other companies, in other places. Our brand is the only brand that has such a strong passion. Thanks to the passion that is in the brand, the technology, the effort that the people put behind this brand and behind building a new car, the next one is the best.
Ferrari is a legendary sports car brand, born from the passion of a man. A passion for driving and racing. A passion for speed and competition. With the will to build cars, each one better than the last. Throughout the decades, this racing DNA never faded away. It informs every single decision made by the prancing horse. It fuels the relentless drive to explore car technology, to push it beyond and make it evolve, to design the most incredible cars in the world. Jewels of the road, champions of the racetrack. Ferrari. It is cars that have become pop culture icons. Cars that share a special bond with millions of people. Whether you own a Ferrari or not, the name Ferrari rings like no other. It impacts and fascinates children and grown-ups alike. It is part of a collective consciousness. Ferrari cars are a vector for dreams. They're modern legends, both real and mythical in a way. They're an idea of what a sports car is, in both fiction and reality. design that combines rage and glamour. Each Ferrari is a piece of art. And from the higher end of the splendor spectrum, each drive is a statement. Essence of the racing spirit, pop culture phenomenon, state-of-the-art ambassador. The combination of all these attributes made Ferrari a car brand that reached millions of people and brought them together. People that have, over the decades, formed a community like no other. Devout, passionate, dedicated. Because once again, no need to own a Ferrari to be part of the Ferrari world. Through almost 80 years, Ferrari has shaped car history. And as I speak, it is shaping its future. A new chapter of the Ferrari supercars story is being written. Its title? F80.
It's a challenge to keep the legacy of the Ferrari brand alive.
This was our exclusive Ferrari experience. Now, time to get your reward. Let's complete this playlist. New playlist ahead. Let's go. Playlist cleared and ready for takeoff, driver. A playlist is available, driver. A playlist is ready to try. Let's go try it. just ahead. Let's go! I bet the next experience we have in store will knock your socks off. Product of a unique partnership. The Motorfest is teaming up with one of the most colourful crew of automotive influencers you can find on the web, Donut Media. These guys are the real deal. Their philosophy that cars are for everyone, combined with their electric energy, makes their content stand out like, I quote, above horse in a pasture of ponies.
I got a question for you guys, and buckle up, Buttercup, cause it's a doozy. Freaking lightning, baby!
This is Rule the Streets. Rolling! Let's move on to another activity. We're not staying in Honolulu just yet. We'll be joining the donut team at the bottom of the mountain. It's like it never happened. I don't want to spoil the surprise, so I'll just give you one clue. The first question involves Italy at its finest.
Ferrari and Lamborghini have been rivals since they were babies. It's true, but don't look it up. Before we set up camp downtown, you'll be racing through the countryside.
The Lamborghini machine, let's ride!
James here. I'm talking to you from this drone. Well, I'm not actually in the drone. That would defeat the entire purpose of a drone. That would be a helicopter. It will follow you the whole time and take some awesome shots for our videos. Not in a weird way. Anyway, have fun. Lamborghini versus Ferrari. Man, I am so pumped. expensive, so try not to crash and burn, okay? Dang, dude. What a viewpoint. It really makes you think. Oh yeah, I should have mentioned there's gonna be turns. Sorry. How are we feeling about our choice down there? Not having second thoughts, are we? Full Italian power! Give me the gravy, Grandma! Lamborghini takes it all! The Lamborghini machine rules the mountains.
Team, you probably have a better idea of what you're getting into. But trust me, you're still in for a few surprises. From now on, the city is going to be your playground. And your first urban challenge will be a rough-and-tumble American street brawl. I can't tell you much more right now. We agreed that James will be the one to give you all the details.
Yeah! All right, tough boys and girls, you think you've got muscle?
The Shelby GT500 performance is your business today.
In the muscle car's natural habitat, the concrete jungle. How's it feel? that car's muscle. I'm flexing right now, you just can't see it. Beepity boop 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 boop. Sorry, that's just the drone talking. He's very excited. Don't mind him. I used to live in that building. Who's got the buffest American muscles? Let's find out. Watch out for that curve. Stretch, dude. Hammer down. Well, that settles that. Mustang Shelby GT500 for the win.
Listen up, you buff horses. I've got 7 questions that you need to answer by getting behind the wheel of some of the most iconic cars the world has ever seen. More power, baby! Listen up, you buff horses. I've got 7 questions that you need to answer by getting behind the wheel of some of the most iconic cars the world has ever seen.
of shows on their channel. In one of them, they pit cheap parts against the high-end versions. It's called Hilo, and that's exactly what you're going to get a taste of now. During this workshop, you'll be driving the oh-so-lovely Nissan 370Z Nismo.
Nothing is more iconic than...
The Donut Crew has all kinds of shows on...